You've got questions, and we've got the answers. You want to know about how to do rabbits for meat and make it your main protein source? Today, we're doing a question and answer just for you. How noisy are rabbits in compared to everything else?
Well, compared to any of your other protein sources, chickens, turkeys, goats, cows, rabbits are pretty quiet. You really don't hear much from them unless there's something that startled them. You'll hear thumping. You'll hear an occasional scream, especially if you've got a buck that's a bit of a screamer. Other than that, you will never hear anything. We have 100 rabbits right now, and you would never know it from the sounds of the barn.
Tell me about the leanness of the meat.
Well, rabbit is one of the leanest meats that you can get. They're actually leaner than chickens. They have a lower fat percentage and a higher protein. So if you're on a diet that's got like a red meat restriction, by far rabbit is the way to go, especially if you have high cholesterol or anything like that.
So how would you suggest people can raise them?
One of the nice things about raising rabbits is you don't need a lot of land for it compared to cows and chickens and the rest of it that take quite a bit of space. You can actually raise enough rabbits for a family of 4 with just 2 bucks and 3 does. So you're talking just a couple of stacks in a garage. You can do a couple of coops in the back, a couple of hutches in your yard. There are folks that, especially if they don't butcher them themselves, if they take them down to an actual butcher, there are people in some of my rabbit groups that actually raise rabbits for meat consumption in apartment buildings. So your options are pretty much limited only by your imagination. You can do them in town, you can do them on a farm, in a barn. It makes no difference. You can make them, house rabbits. It's kind of up to you.
How much does it cost to get into raising rabbits for meat?
So the costs involved with getting started with meat rabbits it really does depend on where you are and what you're wanting to do with them. I've seen people start off with free hutches off of Craigslist or some of the other Facebook groups, and you can get started with pretty minimal equipment. You can build rabbit tractors. The rabbits themselves aren't going to set you back a whole lot. We'll talk about the breeds involved in another video, but you can probably get started with a good trio of meat rabbits for less than $100, especially if you want proven breeders.
How about feed conversion?
So compared to raising cows, goats, any of the other meat sources you can have on a homestead, rabbits have one of the best feed conversion rates out there. You don't necessarily have to raise these guys on commercial feed. You're certainly going to get the best growth rates that way. But you can actually raise meat rabbits just on hays and fresh veggies out of the garden. You do have to be very careful. Baby rabbits especially are pretty prone to getting upset tummies over fresh greens. So if you start them off with it, go at it pretty slow, you'll probably be just fine. But compared to your bigger livestock, they absolutely have the better feed conversion. Another reason to do your rabbits is there is less waste involved. Compared to cows and chickens and goats, where your manure has to be composted, rabbit manure can actually go straight to the garden. So you don't have these big ugly manure piles breaking down. You don't have to wait on them to make sure that you don't scald your plants. And because of that, they do put out a whole lot less waste. The other thing is, because they have such a good dress out percentage, you usually get about 60% of meat to live weight compared to some of your larger animals. When you do process at home, you end up with less waste material as far as hides and just gut material. So by and large, especially if you're going to home process, rabbits are a far, far easier way to go than some of your other animals. Another nice thing about raising rabbits for meat is that it's really a whole family endeavor. Unless you get some really huge rabbits, and we'll talk about that in another video about the breeds that you really want to try for, most of your meat rabbits are going to top out at about 11 to 12 pounds, and that's going to be your breeding rabbits. Because of that, they're easily handled by most members of the family. By and large, rabbits aren't big biters. They're not big scratchers, especially if they've been handled a lot. So there's something you can get your entire family involved in. If you've got smaller kids and you want them to handle the breeding rabbits, and some of the bigger meat rabbits are not so very easy, you know, when you're talking a 10, 11, 12 pound doe, there are other options, which, like I said, we'll talk about in another breed video, but you can get some things like lilacs and Florida whites, where they're going to top out at 6.5 pounds, make them pretty easy for the entire family to deal with them.
And what's the ideal growth time?
So another good thing about raising rabbits is that compared to any other livestock, it's a pretty fast turnover rate in terms of from birth to butcher. Most of your big meat rabbits are going to butcher out at 8 to 10 weeks. I know that seems remarkably fast considering you wait a year and a half for a cow, but this little guy, and I know because of the camera, it makes him look much larger than he is about a 5 pound rabbit, and that is about where you're going to shoot for. So at a 5 pound rabbit, you're going to get 3 to 3.5 pounds of meat, which is a pretty good dinner size even for a family of 4.
Okay, so now, as Nikki mentioned, butchering rabbits at home can be done relatively quickly. It takes me, now I've done hundreds of them, so it takes me roughly around 10 to 12 minutes. And as you're learning, you'll find what works well for you. But consider 10 to 15 minutes the approximate time per rabbit it takes to go from alive to ready to go to the freezer. Now our setup is a little bit different from a lot of people, but this is what works well for us. So we have the ringer part of it here, and on the back side we have the hanging and the last piece of the process. If you're going to do it as a man, I should say, if a man is going to do it, you can probably keep everything from the waist to the chest. And that's best for ergonomics and allows use of most of your muscles, and you don't have to strain too much. If you're going to do it, allow a woman to do it, or if they're going to be the primary butcher person, make sure you're hanging a lot of the stuff more up above their head or at least eye level so that when they pull down, they can use gravity itself. A lot of times just the difference in bone structure, muscle structure between a man and a woman makes it a difference to be able to make it appropriately height, I guess you'd say, so that it's not hard for everybody. Because if you're going to do this, you're probably going to do multiple rabbits at a time, and that way everything can be done quickly and easily.
As I was mentioning, you can pick up used hutches and things off of Craigslist. This is actually one I got from a girl that was moving to Alaska, so she was getting rid of stuff. It's not in the finest shape. You can kind of see where the wire has been patched in a number of places. But stuff like this, free or pretty cheap, is a good way to go. If I was just going to start with meat rabbits, I'd probably try and keep it pretty inexpensive. A hutch like this is nearly 5 feet long total. There's a third section behind me. And it's about 36 inches deep. So this is plenty big enough for a doe to raise an entire litter all the way to butcher, if that's what you wanted to do.
Okay, so those answers cover most of the questions we get from people either wanting to do meat rabbits or they're at least experimenting and investigating how to do meat rabbits and that. We've done them for years, so this covers the majority of the information we typically share with people. Now, we plan on doing a full series on meat rabbits, which will include breeds, equipment, and beyond. So if you like these kind of theoretical instructions, make sure you subscribe to the channel and let us know how we can help you become a better homesteader. That's it for this time on Sprague River Homestead. We'll see you next time.